Hello and welcome to another episode of Bat to the Ball. I am Andrew, here to break down the Brewers versus Marlins series, first series after the All-Star break. So game one, we have Sandy Alcantara versus Logan Henderson on the mound as Brewers are pushing Jacob Mizorowski to a little bit later to give him a little extra rest because of some arm fatigue that he's been dealing with. I think it's fine. So kind of they went for that or whatever. It's like make sure that boy is taken care of and everything like that, and he will get his innings and he'll be good when he's in there. So game one was basically just a pitching matchup until about the fifth inning when stuff kind of got started or whatever, as the home run from Griffin Konai off of Henderson, who pitched pretty well up to that point. He didn't walk anyone, gave up only 3 hits. He was very little traffic that he was giving up, and not striking out a ton of guys, but like it's fine. It's kind of what you would hope for him or whatever. I don't remember if the home run was like don't really make me watch an ad. Thank you. I wanted to just look at this home run and remember myself. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad pitch. It's just like I feel like it was that fifth inning when Henderson, because they went out and they talked to Henderson or whatever, and he said he was trying to get through the fifth inning or whatever. Later found out that it was cramps in his arm or whatever, and that's partially why his changeup that he gave up the home run on was just didn't have the action that it had prior to that or whatever. So yeah, it's like your home runs you shouldn't kill you too much or whatever type thing, especially solo home runs. It's like you're about halfway through the game at that point, so, and I believe the Brewers weren't really getting much off of Alcantara at that point, but it's fine. But it didn't take long for the Brewers to respond to that home run with a home run from themselves by Joey O himself. A great hit off of Alcantara. I believe it was like a sinker down low. He just put the barrel on it, if I remember correctly. Don't really make me watch a 15-second ad for that. All right, you know what? Thanks, ESPN. Or thanks, MLB. Whatever. Not even ESPN at this point. But that was basically it until the Brewers had a couple opportunities. They had some of the opportunities in the 8th and 9th innings, if I'm not mistaken, to score, but failed to do so. The Brewers only went 1 for 10 runners in scoring position in this one. Brewers would go into extras, but I do want to highlight a catch by Garrett Mitchell in the 9th inning that would have scored a run for sure had he not made that catch. He made some great catches this weekend. So, bottom of the 9th, we had another opportunity. Pete Fairbanks, I think, was coming in. Ends up getting out of a little bit of a jam as he gets Churio to strike out on a pitch that was not a strike call, but Churio just did not challenge it. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I'll talk about it afterwards or whatever, but he absolutely should have challenged that. I mean, you had 2 challenges, you get 1 back for extra innings or whatever type thing. So it's like, it's a free challenge. Just use it. So, I don't know. Into the extras we go. Craig Yoho ends up pitching in the extra inning. It was pretty good, honestly, or whatever. He gets a line drive, 1 to Churio, holds the guy at second type thing. Mitchell makes another great catch as well. After a couple outs, after Yoho gets the next out, I can't remember if it was a strikeout or if it was just a ground out. He ended up getting over to third base between that, and it was going to take the Marlins. It's going to be a hit if they wanted to score that runner type thing. But Mitchell makes a great play out in left center field to stop the run from scoring. Brewers went into the 10th feeling pretty good about their chance of winning. Churio being the ghost runner, Terang ends up striking out. Golly, man. You just got to move him over. Just got to move him over. That's really what it was. I believe a walk after that to Contreras to face Jake Bowers. and Bowers ends up striking out 2. But Garrett Mitchell, it was the Garrett Mitchell day today, where he hits a walk-off single as the ball was completely misthrown by Marcy in center field, and Chourio scores with ease. Brewers win 2-1. They had their opportunities to win this game. I mean, the fact is they went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Marlins didn't do any better. They went 0 for 8, but we left 12 on bases, whereas they left 5. So, yeah, we had guys on or whatever, but we just weren't able to cash in. So there's that. Henderson pitched 5 solid innings, dealt with a bit of cramping. I think he wanted to go out for 6, but wasn't able to do so. Patrick came in, pitched an inning. Ashby with an inning. Rebe, I mean, it's just the main guys just got the job done. Rebe, McGill, Ashby, Patrick, type thing. Yoho for the 10th inning looked really good. Honestly, I was. It feels like Yoho is kind of getting a little bit more confidence in him. He's feeling his changeup a bit more, and that's good. Yeah. So that's game 1. Game 1 was a walk-off win to start the second half of the season. Feel pretty good about that. So game 2 was Shane Drohan versus Max Mayer. This was, you knew, we were going to be a tight one going forward. Drohan, I think, struck out the side in the first inning or something like that, or maybe got 2 strikeouts or whatever. Second inning, it just feel like the Marlins were out there swing because they just hit. They got like 5 base hits on like set in like 7 pitches or something like that. I mean, I'm probably over exaggerating that a little bit, but pretty close to it. Yeah, just like they were hitting like single after single, force out right there to get the first out. Garrett Mitchell makes a great play on Lopez play out into right center field or whatever. It goes, kind of slams up against the wall, makes the catch, and ends up turning into a sacrifice fly rather than like a double that ends up clearing the bases. Huge play there from Garrett Mitchell. Miami ends up scoring because of a sacrifice fly, as that was only out number 2. Put them up 3-0 at that point. But Braden Shoemake would be able to get a sacrifice fly out to center field, and Mitchell would score. The Brewers respond again to runs being scored. Contreras would hit a double down the line, and then Chourio would score once again in the very next inning. And we kind of stayed 3-2 for a while after that. Brewers had a ton of opportunities, a ton of base runners, kind of make this happen. Mayer walked 3, only gave up 2 earned runs, but only pitched 3 innings because he just didn't have his good stuff, and so the Marlins just took him out early. Kind of an interesting case. I mean, I guess you're coming off the All-Star break, and you use a few pitchers in game 1 or whatever, but I was like, only 3 innings for Mayer, and it's like, yeah, he might not be getting, being his most effective he's ever been, but it's pretty not bad. So, whatever. But it wasn't until the 6th inning when Chourio hits a single that ends up scoring out Shoemake, who starts off the rally. By the way, Shoemake has been an excellent addition so far in these very few games that he's played at this point. Kind of like the utility / like just extra guy while David Hamilton is hurt. Very curious to know if there's any chance that he stays on the team after Hamilton comes back. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. It's a weird one like that. Mitchell would then end up doubling after that, and Brewers would take a 6-3 lead. As they were just fully in control after that. Drohan was, after that second inning, settled in tremendously to give us 6 innings, only 3 earned runs. That is a quality start for Drohan. Pretty good. He, I believe, had a career high in strikeouts with 9, only walked 1. His stuff looked good. He wasn't rattled. He wasn't rattled after that second inning or whatever. He went out and he got the job done. Bullpen, only a few guys ended up needing to pitch. So, as a result of that, the Brewers had a bit of a lead after the 7th inning after Christian Yelich hit a line drive down the left field line. And then Pratt and Shoemake would score off that. Brewers would go into the 9th inning up 8-3. But Yoho, who pitched a really good 8th inning, just felt like he was I don't know if he was not really hitting his spots, or I don't know. I don't know what the best way to describe it is, pretty much, but it's just like Yoho was just really struggling with his command in the second inning. Gives up a home run to Griffin Kanye or whatever, and all of a sudden it is 8-6. And with the top of the lineup looming, that was not great. It had to get up McGill. McGill came in, got the save, locked it down. Brewers end up winning a score of 8-6. Probably could have been a lot better, but Yoho just felt like he was hitting his command, so he ended up pitching an inning plus because he didn't get anybody out in that inning. So I don't know. Yoho was fine. I just think that he was fighting his command a little bit, and I don't know if he was not necessarily expecting to come back for the ninth inning, or if it was just because I don't know. It was just a weird one. So like I said, Brewers would end up going to win 8-6. Overall, I thought this was a much better game from everyone around. I do want to point out, I think it was game 2. Yeah, game 1. Frelick ended up coming out of the game because of a throw he made from right field where it basically almost didn't make it to Bryce Durang from a shallow throw out to right field. As Frelick goes on the IL with some shoulder pain. I believe it was shoulder pain. So it sounds like that we're not sure, the severity of the injury to Frelick or whatever. That sucks for a guy that's, he's the Brewers guy. He's done everything we've asked him up to this point, and he's been a huge part of this team prior to this. Yeah, he's had a down year, but you hate to see that from a guy like him. So most likely Lara is going to get some time out in right field along with Bowers, which will hopefully get Vaughn a bit more playing time as well. Kind of just, again, we're going to have the kind of revolving door of right field or whatever. With that, Perkins was called back up to the majors. So I only mention that because in game 3, Bowers was out in right field. And then we had Vaughn playing first base. So, so game 3, we had Robert Gasser versus Yuri Perez. Yuri Perez, who's been absolutely killing us for a while now. Ends up coming in, but Gasser was pitching a pretty good game or whatever. He gives up a home run to I mean, you can't fault Gasser for the pitch he made. I mean, it was a sweeper down low and inside. I mean, you see a lot of guys swing over the top of that. Yuri Perez or Esteury Ruiz just completely smashed that ball out to left field. Just got the barrel to it. That's all I can say about it. Other than that, I mean, Gasser looked good. Much better start for him than against the Pirates beforehand. His velocity was dipping a little bit towards the end of his outing after his 5 innings. So I think that's why Patrick ended up coming out. Even though I thought Gasser could have gone one more, but because of all the velocity dropping and everything like that, time off. Just make it easy. Patrick comes in, pitches 2 innings, gems. Did run into a bit of trouble in, I believe it was the 6th or 7th inning, but he ended up working out of it. Ashby comes in for, I believe, the 8th inning, something like that. So, is that? But Brewers had a prime opportunity to score in the 6th inning as I think it was Yelich walks. Trio got hit by a pitch after Yelich stole second base. And then it was like a fielding error from Perez. Like just a throwing error, not fielding error. Throwing error. Second base gets Trio and Yelich over from second and third. And I'm like, this is the opportunity to score against Yuri Perez, who's been absolutely just dominating lights out. He was just like not really doing anything. I mean, he was a one hit. It was a 1-hit game basically. Vaughn hit one off of the third baseman's glove or whatever that trickled into the end of foul territory. So it was just like, yeah, that was the only hit that he had surrendered to that point. I mean, Gasser was pitching just as well, or whatever. But unfortunately, Turang would again strike out after 10. It was a 10-pitch strikeout. he was really working the count, but it just felt like I'm like, come on, man, you just got to put something into play, type thing. And in Andrew Vaughn, oh my God, he hits the ball 100 and like 102 miles an hour off the bat, right at the shortstop, who makes a fantastic play. Yelich, who took off on that contact, seeing it was a line drive, thinking it was probably going to get through, or maybe it was going to kind of bounce. He's trying to beat the throw out at home, if there is a throw at home, type thing. Ends up getting doubled off because of Sonoha making a great play, making the catch. And then, so the Brewers end up not scoring, and I'm thinking, oh, come on, that's the game right there. It's like, how do we not score on that? So that was very unfortunate. And it was kind of just like there. It's like, Patrick Ashby, Anderson pitches a great ninth inning. But the bottom of the ninth inning, Pete Fairbanks is in there. Once again, it was like, we got the middle of our order coming up. Churio starts us off with a single into center field, throwing walks. Vaughn ends up striking out on a wicked slider from Fairbanks, or it was a wicked slider / cutter. That thing moved way too much to be called a cutter. That's all I'm going to say there. But Contreras coming up with the big hit, big bat flip from Wild Bill there, as he hits a big fly out to left center field. No doubter, home run, walk-off shot from Wild Bill. Brewers end up winning 3-1 and sweep the Marlins. That's how you want to start out the series coming out from the All-Star break. Overall, extremely well played from both teams or whatever. Brewers, I was very, they were losing in every game, basically. They came back and won every game, so we're going to call ourselves the comeback crew once again. Overall, it's like, we had opportunities, of course, in just about every game. It's like, we do need to come up with some hits. Can't rely on these late inning comebacks or whatever. But, you take them when you get them, type thing, and you have that belief in yourself that you can win every game you can. Overall, MVPs to me in this series has got to be Mitchell again. I feel like every series I say, it's like, especially recently, Mitchell has just been lights out this July, basically. And there was an All-Star break in the middle of this. He's like the most hits in the month of July. He's been doing it not only on the feet, not only in the with his bat, but with his glove. It's like that play in the Game 2 when in the second inning, it's like he makes that play out in center field or whatever, turns into 1 run instead of 3 runs. Huge. That changes the entire dynamic of the game and stuff like that. So it's like, you don't want the game to kind of blow up in your favor. It's like 3-0, you can still come back from. If it was like 5-0, you're like, all right, well, we got to chip away, type thing. So, Mitchell will be my player of the series for this one. Special shout outs to, of course, Wild Bill, who William Contreras, who obviously hit the walk-off homer, but overall just sets the tone for, I feel like, this team. He is a leader of this team for sure, on multiple accounts. Gets him going. I do want to point out, I think it was after, I talked about it with Churio getting called out in the 9th inning. He did challenge in the next game or whatever. So I was like, I'd have to think, and I want the Brewers to be a little bit more aggressive with the ABS or whatever. The home plate umpiring for all 3 games was just inconsistent. It was, and I think I'm being generous when I say inconsistent, because sometimes it was just bad. It was just bad at some point. And usually when I say bad, it just means inconsistent and stuff like that. So it was just like the bottom of the strike zone was really hard to do. And I was like, look, in some situations, when I say, oh, it was like, oh, challenge or whatever type thing, man, it's not really worth it or whatever type thing. And I think the Brewers are smart enough to know when it is the whatever. But it's like Churio taking that called strike 3 in the 9th inning or whatever. It's like, we gotta be more aggressive. We gotta be more aggressive when it comes to using these ABS challenges. I know they want to save one for the 9th inning or whatever, or for the late innings, especially for the pitchers. I get that, but we got to try and be a bit more aggressive here. I'm hoping that with a couple good challenges from Contreras behind the plate in last, and like I think it was game 2, he kind of had a couple challenges that worked out in his favor. Gary Sanchez has never been one to shy away from using the ABS system. So, for better or worse, that is. I oftentimes trust him more often than not when he is behind the plate or when he's up at the bat, which isn't often. So, I'm not too worried about that. So, but he seems to know the strike zone very well. I think there's very few times where he doesn't think he had a bad one here in the Sunday's game against the Marlins, but it's whatever. I don't know. It's like he thought it was out there. It is what it is. It all works out in the end. It all works out in the end, but we just need to be a bit more aggressive for some of these guys that really know the strike. I know some of these guys really know the strike zone or whatever, and it's like if they think it's closer, like okay, it might not be there. I think it's worth challenging type thing. Then sure, but there's just times where I'm just like, we know this is inside or whatever type thing. There was a couple times for Yelich where it's like, this is inside, challenge it, Yelly, or whatever type thing. There was a couple ones for there was one for Churio that was inside, and he did challenge it, and I was like, thank Christ, we just do that with some consistency. That'd be great. Gotta get Terang involved with it a little bit more, man. It's like, and Bowers has used it on occasion too when there's some egregious ones, but there's a few other times where he needs to do it. Also, I gotta talk about Jake Bowers. We need to get him right. Stuff like that. He is chasing way, way more than he was in the first half of the season. I don't know if he's just trying to push himself, trying to work himself hard, trying to get out of this slump that he's in or whatever type thing, but we need Bowers at this point or whatever. It's like, the fact is he got pinch hit for Contreras in the 9th inning, or not even 9th inning, I think it was the 7th inning, and the Brewers had a couple guys on, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 7th or 8th inning? One of the two. And Contreras ended up getting two at-bats, so I think it was when a lefty was on the mound or whatever, because then it's like Gary Sanchez would walk, and then Pratt would come in for him, and Pratt would get thrown out. So it was a 7th inning. Yep. I think it was Pratt's first caught stealing, if I'm not mistaken. So, Valaro came in for Shoemake, so they kind of readjusted the entirety of the infield and outfield when all those things, whatever, ended up working out. Because Contreras was the one who hit the big 3-run homer in Sunday's game. I forget what the point I was making. Oh yeah, Bowers. We need to get Bowers right. It's like he's been our best hitter all year. He just needs to simplify it again. I think he's just trying too hard to make stuff happen, to try and make big hits happen and stuff like that. And he's chasing pitches. He's chasing high outside pitches. These are pitches he was laying off almost always. Almost always. In every case. And I feel like he's just striking out way more as a result of that. So it's like, we need to get him right. Same thing with Yelly, we just need to get some confidence back into. I don't know if it's confidence or if it's seeing spin on the ball or something like that, or he's just guessing wrong or whatever. It's like, we just need to get through this. I have confidence that these guys are going to get through it. I have full confidence in Jake Bowers. I think this is the Bowers breakout year. He just needs to kind of just settle down the plate and just kind of take it in stride. I feel like he's just being a little too laid back at the plate or whatever, trying to, I don't know, work the count a little bit more type thing or whatever. I don't know. It's just he just needs to relax. Just do what he did all the first half of the season. That's it. So once those two get right, this team's going to be great. This team's going to be wonderful. It already is type thing. But Terang's also regressing a little bit here, but I still believe in Terang a little as well. We just need to not worry. I don't know. Just be a bit more aggressive. Put some better swings on the bat, on the ball. That's really all it comes down to. I say all this stuff. Brewers still have 62 wins, so they're still winning. So there's just times where it's just man, we got to come up with some hits. Hits, especially with runners in scoring position. Whatever. overall. It's like I said, 62 wins. Still pretty good. Still really good. Still really good. You're only a half game. I was looking at this earlier today. Like, you are only a half game behind the Dodgers right now for the best record in all of baseball. This is the entire league. This is the entire National League. And American League, their top team only has 56 wins with the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's like you are well over. That you're looking pretty good when it comes to the Dodgers. The Dodgers have one more win over the Brewers right now. Braves, who are the second highest division leader, or third highest division leader, has 57. You have a 5-game lead over them for at least that. So it's like, if we can't overtake the Dodgers, let's just keep the second spot so we stay out of the wild card game. That is the key for that. We are hitting into that, so there is that. So, back to this real fast. With that being said, looking forward to this next series. We got the Mets are coming to town, as Brewers are going to get to see Jacob Misiorowski versus Freddie Peralta in Game 1 against the Mets. This is going to be an exciting matchup for tonight's game. If you are watching this on the day I'm putting this out, it is tonight's game. Obviously, I love Freddie and stuff like that. I know he's not having a great year with the Mets. So, I mean, the Mets just aren't having a good year because they're the Mets. So, Misiorowski's going to come back on the mound first time in quite some time for him. So, hopefully some good rest will do him some good. Arm will be feeling better, and he can pitch a great game. Brewers, let's just try and jump on fastball Freddie, you know? I was like, as much as I don't want to beat up on my boy, you gotta win baseball game. So that comes down to. Originally, it was supposed to be Freddie Peralta versus Brandon Sprout, which is also really funny because that would have been the two guys traded for one another. So I thought that matchup would have been funny. Misiorowski versus Peralta is a lot more fun in my mind. So game 2 we have Brandon Sprout versus this Zach Thornton. I don't know. Making his fourth career start, basically. Got a 2.60 ERA. This last outing versus Boston, he went 7 innings, no earned runs. Pretty good. Considering how hot Boston has been, that's pretty good. So, I don't know. Looking like it's going to be a little bit tougher one. Just got to get a good outing from Sprout. I feel like he's been struggling to kind of get that good outing again lately. So, hoping we can get that from him. Then game 3 will be Logan Henderson versus this Christian Scott. Another guy, I don't know who the heck this is. 5 2/3, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts against the Phillies in his latest start. Okay. He's a second-year guy for the Mets, I guess. 2.87 ERA. What the heck? Where the heck these guys come from? I thought Mets pitching was bad. That's what I always keep hearing is like their pitching has not been great, and then their hitting has been not great either. So I don't know. Just take the series win against the Marlins and continue riding this or whatever. It's like let's get to fastball Freddie and then see how we get some run support from Misiorowski so he can feel good about that type thing. And for Miz, I'm like, I know his last few outings have not been great by his standards, or whatever. Still pretty good overall. If we get a lot of strikeouts here, this is a very aggressive Mets team, if I'm not mistaken. They swing a lot, so I feel like they're going to try and catch up to this fastball from Miz. Looking at it, I remember because it was like, obviously Misiorowski had a few games whatever. I was just looking. I was like, oh, Lindor has 2 at bats versus Miz, and he actually gave up a home run to him. Type thing, but of course, out of all the other ones, like that's it for guys who are, have done really well against Miz. There's a lot of huge sample size there. So Yeah. Um. Yeah, I mean that's the Mets series. I'm like, I think there's a good chance we could just sweep again, go on a 6-game win streak here. Type thing. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we get from Sprout. I think that's of all the games that I'm really not sure of what we're gonna get. Got to win the Mizrowski days. When Miz is pitching, especially when he's on and dealing type thing, we gotta win. We got it. We gotta get him some runs type thing. Sprout is a bit of a mixed bag and stuff like that. And some outings are good, some outings are bad. So I'm hoping that he'll be amped up to face his former team, the team that traded him, and he'll pitch a great game type thing. Henderson, as long as he's not cramping up, should be completely fine. I mean, he pitched 5 innings against that or whatever type thing. Just need to keep him healthy. So there's that. Because unfortunately, it sounds like Brandon Woodruff is done for the year. Just makes me sad. Just makes me sad. What he's like, one of my favorite guys. And everyone keeps looking at his stats and going, man, injuries probably stopped us from having a career guy, like having a potential Hall of Fame pitcher type thing, or at least like a whatever type thing. I don't know. It's just like he's been so good when he's on the mound, but it's just being able to stay on the mound and being healthy has been a challenge for Woody. So, but he's having a season-ending shoulder surgery again. The season for sure. Career. Now he's not ready to call it a career just yet, and I can't blame him. But I don't know if the Brewers are going to sign him, and if the Brewers don't sign him, I don't know what team will. For the potentiality or whatever, it's the not being healthy part that's gonna kill him type thing. And he might not get another opportunity to see if he can actually do it. It's really what it comes down to. If the Brewers do, you could potentially have him as a bullpen arm and really lighten his load a little bit type thing. But I don't know. That's a risk right there. But I'm really hoping that's not the end for Woody. But is what it is. He announced that he was having a season-ending shoulder surgery. So there's that. So, all right, I've been rambling long enough, I guess, at this point. Like I said, I mean, Brewers are only half game back of the Dodgers for the best record in baseball after the Dodgers lost to the Yankees last night. You got the Mets coming at home. You got this home stretch going here. It's like you got 3 games against the Mets this week, and then 3 games against the Rockies this weekend, all at home. Just keep it going. I don't know who the Dodgers face going forward here. That's a great question. Let's set that up, shall we? They got the Phillies. They're at Phillies. Oh, I guess you're out on East Coast. And I was like, man, I was like, the Dodgers play. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess they're out West Coast at that point. That makes sense. So, Dodgers are out at Phillies. Hopefully, Phillies can take a couple games there. And the Brewers can take a couple games over against the Mets. And if they can do that, all of a sudden you're going to find yourself in the league's best team in baseball again. You got the best record in baseball. Be really nice type thing. You got a 6-game lead over the Cubs at this point, so you got to keep pace. Not sure who the Cubs face. Let's just take a look at that real fast out of curiosity. Detroit. They're at home versus Detroit. So Detroit is surging a little bit. So maybe that'll be good. Maybe they'll be able to help us out here. So we will see. We shall see. So either way, just keep building this lead. Just keep winning. Just what you've been doing this whole time. It's really all it comes down to. Don't care about what the others do. Just win. That's it. So yeah. So thank y'all so much for watching this breakdown versus the Marlins. Last series versus the Marlins this year. We will not be seeing them again unless it's in the playoffs. Marlins are sort of in the playoff race. I think they're in the wild card spot, aren't they? They're just out of the wild card spot now that Brewers swept them, but they were in it until Cardinals snuck in as the last wild card right now. Um. So. Yeah. What was I doing? What was I saying again? I don't remember now. I was doing the outro. So thank y'all again for watching. And I will see you all on, I believe, Thursday. Yes. Probably Thursday. Because I believe the Wednesday game. Yeah, then they're off Thursday. We'll probably end up posting on Thursday. Maybe Wednesday night if I have the time. So I'll see y'all then. Let's go get the Mets and see if we can't sweep them. So see y'all Thursday. Bye bye. I am terrible at outros.